That day, I was tidying up the cramped storage room of our little convenience store with the new employee. Chris, excuse me, I just need to squeeze past. At that moment, something large and firm slowly pressed against my backside and slid past me. In my 55 years, I had never felt such a powerful sensation, and it took my breath away. What was that? My heart started pounding wildly. It was a strange and dangerous feeling, something I'd never experienced, even with my husband. But this was only the beginning of events I could never have imagined. Let me tell you how one chance encounter completely changed a woman's life and revealed the true desires hidden deep within my soul. My name is Maggie, and I'm 55 years old. I run a small 24-hour convenience store in our neighborhood. My daily life was 365 days a year behind that cash register, without a single day off. My husband, Bill, retired 2 years ago and completely changed. He'd lie on the couch watching TV all morning, and by afternoon, he'd have a bottle of vodka. What did you do today? When I got home from work, there was never a word of greeting, just a cloud of cigarette smoke. Honey, do you want dinner? I'd ask. I don't know. Do whatever you want. That was our dialogue. We lived in the same house, but we were strangers to each other. Sometimes I felt like I couldn't even breathe around that man. Then, one evening, I came home after my shift and found my husband dead drunk, passed out on the living room floor. Empty vodka bottles were scattered everywhere. Drunk again? Bill, please get a grip, I said. Get a grip? Do you know why I'm like this? What do you mean? Bitcoin. I lost it all on Bitcoin. Our entire retirement savings. In that instant, my mind went blank. What? What did you say? 100 grand, Maggie. I lost every penny of our savings. I crumpled to the floor. That was money I had scraped together for over 20 years, slaving away in that store. Are you insane? How could you make a decision like that on your own? I thought it would work out. Everyone said you could get rich on Bitcoin. You believed strangers and poured every dollar we had into it, the money I worked my whole life for? I couldn't speak. Rage gave way to emptiness. My entire life with this man flashed before my eyes like a kaleidoscope. He had never once shown me respect. I'm leaving. I can't live with you anymore. I'll go crazy. That night, I told my husband we were separating. The house emptied, but strangely, it became easier to breathe. At the same time, I was terrified. At 55, alone with no savings for my old age, I couldn't see any future. Every night I sat behind the cash register and stared blankly out the window. About a month after we separated, running the store by myself became too much. Doing 24-hour shifts alone was exhausting, so I decided to hire an assistant. I posted an ad, and a few days later, a man came for an interview. The moment he opened the door and walked in, I was stunned. He was easily over 6 feet tall, with broad shoulders and strong thighs, built like an athlete. His face was quite handsome, too. Hello, I'm Chris. I'm here about the job. Oh yes, please have a seat. I took his application and glanced over it. Age 40. Previous job, personal trainer. You were a personal trainer? Yes, for about 5 years. But the gym owner got caught up in some major fraud scheme, and the place suddenly closed down. The way Chris spoke was calm, but there was disappointment in his expression. I felt a little sorry for him. You haven't worked in a store before? No, but I'm a quick learner. Just give me a chance, and I'll work really hard. He had a sincere look in his eyes. He didn't seem like someone who would lie, and I couldn't help noticing that my gaze kept drifting to his muscular body, strong chest muscles visible through his t-shirt, the clear lines of his biceps. It was clear he'd taken good care of his body, as a trainer should. Right, where was I? I snapped out of it and stared back at his application. But then a strange thought crossed my mind. 40 years old. With looks like that, surely he must be married. But the form said single. Sorry if this is too personal, but you're not married? Chris's face tensed suddenly. It seemed I'd touched on a forbidden subject. Oh, I'm sorry, that was probably too personal. It's okay, just some personal circumstances. His answer was brief, but there was an inexplicable sadness in his voice. I didn't press further, but curiosity remained. What kind of circumstances? After the interview, I decided to hire Chris. First, I liked his appearance and demeanor, and second, I thought having a man in the store would make it safer. You can start tomorrow. Come by at 11 in the morning. Thank you, Maggie. I'll work really hard. Chris gave me a big smile and said goodbye. I don't know why his smile touched my heart so much. It felt like a long-forgotten flutter. After Chris left, I muttered to myself, good-looking, great body. Why isn't he married at 40? Very strange. That night, I kept thinking about Chris for some reason. His muscular thighs, his intense gaze. I couldn't sleep. Am I crazy, thinking about a guy 15 years younger than me? I buried my face in my pillow and sighed. But deep in my heart, a strange anticipation was growing. The next day, Chris arrived exactly at 11 o'clock. He was neatly dressed and walked in with a fresh smile. Good morning, Maggie. Good morning. Come in. That day marked the beginning of my working relationship with Chris, and soon this routine flowed in a direction I could never have imagined. Chris worked wonderfully. From the first day, he handled stocking shelves, the cash register, and cleaning with ease, and he was very polite with customers. Especially when female customers came in, their faces would light up and they'd only have eyes for Chris. Maggie, you're so lucky to have hired such a handsome worker, a regular customer joked while paying. Oh, stop. He's just a good employee. Outwardly, I pretended not to care, but inside, it felt strangely pleasant. About a week passed. A large shipment arrived at the store, and we needed to organize it. Chris, could you help me straighten up the storage room? Of course, Maggie. I'll carry all the heavy stuff. We went into the storage room together. It was a very tight space. If two people went in there, it was nearly impossible to move without touching. These boxes need to go over there. Got it. Chris lifted a heavy box with one motion. Veins bulged on his forearms. I stood there watching him. We had been organizing for a while when Chris came up behind me to reach for a box on a shelf. I was in the middle of the narrow aisle, sorting through merchandise. Excuse me, Maggie, can I just get past? Oh, yes. I quickly pressed myself against the wall, but the aisle was too narrow. As Chris tried to pass behind me, at that exact moment, something large and firm slowly pressed against my backside. It felt like a thick sausage. No, even bigger than that. It moved slowly, very slowly, sliding across my backside as it passed. What was that? Is that even human? I was so surprised I could barely breathe. Even through our clothes, I could clearly feel its size and hardness. Sorry, Maggie, it's really tight in here. Chris said it as if nothing had happened and grabbed the box, but I froze in place. My legs felt weak, and I had to grab onto the shelf. Maggie, are you okay? You're all red. I'm fine, just a little stuffy in here. That was a lie. The air conditioner ran in the storage room year-round, and it was actually cool, but my face was burning. Chris passed by me again with the box. This time, I pressed myself even harder against the wall, but I felt it again. Hard and huge, it touched my backside. Oh my God, this is unbelievable. When we finished organizing and left the storage room, I was completely dazed. Chris went back to work as if nothing had happened, but even after I returned to the register, I couldn't pull myself together. Was that real? How is that even possible? In my 55 years, I had never experienced such shock. Married to Bill for 25 years, I could never have imagined something like this. And then a thought crossed my mind. Maybe the reason tall, handsome Chris never married until 40 is because of that. I thought that if a man was too large, women might be scared off, and it could become a problem. No, what am I even thinking? I shook my head violently, but that sensation wouldn't go away. It had imprinted itself on my body, so vivid. That night after I got home, I didn't sleep a wink. Every time I closed my eyes, that scene flashed before me. The narrow storage room aisle, Chris's incredible thing sliding against my backside. God, I'm going crazy. I buried my face in my pillow and tossed and turned, but my heart kept pounding wildly. From the next day, I felt incredibly awkward around Chris. I kept catching myself glancing at his crotch. Chris seemed not to notice anything. I've definitely lost my mind, fantasizing about an employee 15 years younger. But I couldn't stop. Curiosity grew stronger. How big is it exactly? Is that really why he never married? A few days passed like this, and soon my curiosity became reality. Another week later, Chris had settled in so well that he could handle the store on his own. So we decided to split shifts. Chris, maybe we should work in shifts now? You could take 11 a.m. to 10 p.m., and I'll take 10 p.m. to 11 a.m. the next morning. Good idea, Maggie, but are you sure you'll be okay alone on the night shift? It's fine. I used to do it alone anyway. But there are sometimes drunk customers at night. It might be dangerous. There was concern in Chris's voice. That care warmed my heart for some reason. So we started working shifts. Chris took the day hours, and I took the nights. Every evening at 10, we'd switch, exchanging only brief greetings. Have a good shift, Maggie. Thanks, you too, Chris. Go get some rest. But strangely, the longer I didn't see Chris, the more I wanted to see him. After that incident in the storage room, thoughts of Chris never left my head. Then, one Friday evening, a drunk man staggered into the store. Hey lady, give me a bottle of vodka. Which kind would you like? Any kind, just hurry up. The man grabbed the vodka and immediately opened it, starting to drink right at the counter. Sir, you can't drink in here. Shut up, I paid for it. The man yelled and moved closer to the register. His breath reeked of alcohol. Please, sir, you need to leave. Hey lady, must be boring alone at this hour. Want me to keep you company? The man leered and tried to grab my hand. Don't touch me, I'll call the police. Oh, come on, you know you'd like it. Just at that moment, the store door chimed open. Standing in the doorway was Chris. His expression was unusually sharp. You there, take your hand off her, right now. Chris's low voice echoed through the store. The drunk turned around. Who the hell are you? Leave, now. Chris walked slowly toward him. At that moment, the drunkenness seemed to drain from the man's face. Seeing Chris's muscular build, he got scared. Ah, hell, ruined my mood. The man grumbled and left the store. When the door closed, I finally breathed a sigh of relief. Maggie, are you okay? Chris came over and put a hand on my shoulder. Yes, I'm fine. But Chris, why are you here at this hour? I was worried about you being here alone. Just happened to be passing by. Passing by? But your apartment is in the other direction. At my words, Chris smiled sheepishly. Actually, I walk by around this time every night, just to check on you, make sure nothing's happened. My heart warmed. Chris? Maggie, you gave me a job. You've been so kind to me. It's the least I could do. Thank you. Really? That night, Chris stayed in the store until 3 a.m. He was worried that drunk might come back. We sat together behind the register and talked about all sorts of things. Chris, you're a very kind person. No, I'm not. It's just natural. Chris smiled shyly. His smile seemed so pure. You're a very kind person too, Maggie, taking on someone like me. Someone like you? What do you mean? Well, I'm 40, still not married, and my resume isn't great. Chris's voice grew quieter. It seemed he had some deep wound. What are you talking about? Chris, you're a wonderful person. At my words, Chris looked at me. Something flickered in his gaze. At that moment, I realized I was falling more and more for this man. That shocking size I'd felt in the storage room, the desire to see him every day, and now this gentle concern for me. A flutter at 55. I could hardly believe it myself. And I became even more curious about Chris, his secrets, his past, everything about him. From that day, my feelings for Chris grew so strong I could no longer hide them. I eagerly awaited 10 p.m., our shift change time. Those few minutes when I saw Chris were the happiest moments of my day. Another week passed. I gathered my courage and spoke to Chris. Chris, do you have time tonight? Yes, Maggie. Is something wrong? We're always just working. We've never even sat down together. Tonight's my treat. Let's go to that diner nearby, get some grilled meat. Chris hesitated for a moment, then nodded. Sure, I'd love that. I hung a closed sign on the store door. My heart was pounding. I couldn't believe I was going to have dinner with Chris alone. We sat at a corner table in the quiet diner, ordered grilled pork chops and a bottle of wine. Chris, do you drink? A little. And you, Maggie? Sometimes, though lately I haven't had much reason to. While the meat was cooking, we chatted about small things, the weather, the customers, but in my head, very different questions were swirling. After a glass or two of wine, the atmosphere became more relaxed. I gathered my courage and asked, Chris, I'm really curious. Can I ask you something? Sure, anything. Why have you never married? You're handsome. You have a good personality. Chris's face tensed. He picked up his glass and downed his wine. Maggie, that's a little hard to talk about. Chris looked out the window. He was silent for a long time. The truth is, Chris poured himself more wine and drank it without food, then slowly began to speak. I have, let's say, an unusual physique. My body, it's not quite normal. At that moment, my heart seemed to drop. I remembered that feeling in the storage room. What do you mean? Chris blushed and lowered his head. I'm too big down there. Much bigger than normal. He paused, then continued. Actually, 5 years ago, I was engaged. I loved that girl very much. But on our wedding night, Chris's voice trembled. She got so scared. She was terrified. The next day, she broke off the engagement. She said I wasn't human, Maggie. Tears welled in his eyes. Since then, I haven't had the courage to be with women. I was afraid of being hurt again. Afraid of hurting someone else. Chris drank 3 more glasses of wine in a row. His face, flushed from drinking, grew even redder. Maggie, to be honest with you, I'm 40 years old and I've never been with a woman. Never? Every time it gets to that moment, the girl gets scared and pulls away. I was shocked. So handsome, so masculine, and a virgin at 40. So I've accepted that I'll live my whole life alone. That way, I never have to show myself to anyone. Tears appeared in Chris's eyes. How long had he carried this secret alone? I squeezed his hand tightly. Chris, it's not your fault. You're a wonderful person. Those women just couldn't handle it. They couldn't see who you really are. Maybe it was the wine, but I grew bolder. I'm honestly very curious. How big is it exactly for this to happen? Chris flinched and looked at me. My face was burning too, but I couldn't contain my curiosity. Maggie, I actually felt it in the storage room when you passed by me. Chris's face turned crimson. I'm sorry, it was so cramped. I didn't mean to. Don't apologize, it wasn't unpleasant. Our eyes met. The air grew thick. Chris's breathing became heavy. Maggie, what are you saying? I held his hand even tighter. It's been a long time for me too, with my husband always drunk and smoking and nothing working anymore. We haven't been together in years. Maggie, I like you, Chris. I really do. Chris took a deep breath. His gaze wavered. I like you too, Maggie, from the very first day. But I'm afraid of hurting you. I can handle it. Are you sure? I nodded. My heart felt like it would burst from my chest. Let's go back to the store. Why? There's work to do in the storage room. Will you help me? Of course. It was a lie. There was no work in the storage room. But I wanted to be alone with Chris. I couldn't wait any longer. Chris slowly nodded. We paid the bill and headed back to the store. My heart pounded wildly. Me, a 55-year-old woman, and Chris, a 40-year-old employee. This excitement with a man 15 years younger was so wonderful. When we reached the store, it was well past midnight. The streets were empty, lit only by dim streetlights. With trembling hands, I unlocked the door. Chris followed me in. Wait. I locked the door behind us and hung up the closed sign. My heart beat so hard I could barely breathe. Let's go to the storage room. I took Chris's hand and led him back. We entered the cramped space. In that tight, enclosed room, it was just the two of us. Silence fell. All we could hear was our breathing. Chris. I slowly approached him. His face drew near. Maggie, are you absolutely sure? Yes, I'm sure. But I'm so... I put a finger to his lips. Don't worry. I can handle it. And I kissed him, a tentative kiss that gradually deepened. Chris's arms wrapped around my waist, and I put my arms around his neck. Maggie? Call me Maggie. Maggie. His trembling transmitted to me. We pressed closer together, and from below, I felt his power. Oh, so it was true. That incredible size I'd felt in the storage room, his impressive presence now pressed against me. Maggie, are you sure you're okay? Yes, just let's go slow. I took his face in my hands and kissed him again. Chris's hands slid down my back. Shivers ran through my entire body. In 25 years of marriage, I had never felt anything like this. Chris! Dima. We didn't need words anymore. Just each other's warmth was enough. If it hurts, tell me right away. I was grateful for Chris's concern, and it gave me confidence. With trembling hands, we carefully began to undress each other. Oh my God! When my gaze dropped, I was speechless. What Chris had told me was not an exaggeration. No, he had actually been too modest. That night, we explored each other very slowly and carefully. Chris constantly asked if I was okay, and each time I nodded. At first, it was difficult. As Chris had warned, it wasn't easy. But I didn't give up. As time passed, gradually getting used to it, we held each other more deeply. We sweated, we breathed heavily, but we were happy. That night, I became a woman for the first time. At 55, I felt real love for the first time. And Chris, at 40, became a complete man for the first time. Outside the storage room walls, the world continued its life. But in that cramped space, we created our own world. Only after a long time did we finally release each other from our embrace. Chris held me and said, "Maggie, thank you for accepting me. Thank you for making me feel like a woman again." We looked at each other and smiled. Now we were no longer store owner and employee, just a man and a woman in love. Chris, what do we do now? I don't know, but if you're with me, Maggie, I can handle anything. Me too. From that night, our relationship changed completely. During the day, we were just the owner and employee. But when midnight came, we'd lock the store door and go to the storage room. That place became our secret hideaway. At first, it felt awkward, but over time, it became natural. Chris gained confidence, and I felt my soul and body growing younger. I was happy, truly happy, with a happiness I'd never known in 25 years of marriage. But this happiness couldn't last forever. I didn't know then that great trials awaited us. About a month after my relationship with Chris began, I eagerly awaited each night. Looking in the mirror, I noticed how my face had changed. My skin looked fresher, and there was life in my eyes. "Maggie, you look so great lately. Did something good happen?" a regular customer asked. I blushed all over. "Oh, just exercising every day, working up a sweat." That wasn't entirely a lie. That day, I switched shifts with Chris at 10 p.m. as usual. As he left, Chris gently squeezed my hand and whispered, "I'll be waiting for tonight." Yes, me too. After Chris left, I stayed alone in the store, waiting for time to pass faster. Chris was supposed to come around midnight, but around 11 p.m., the store door opened. Chris came early, I thought hopefully, and looked up. But it wasn't Chris, it was my husband, Bill. I hadn't seen him in 3 months since we separated. "Long time no see, Maggie." He still reeked of alcohol. His face looked gaunt. "What are you doing here?" "It's my wife's store. Can I come?" "We're living separately. If you wanted to come, you could have at least called." "Call? Why would I need to call to come to my own place?" Bill approached the register. I instinctively stepped back. "Bill, if you want to talk, let's do it another time. Please just leave tonight." How long are we going to live like this? Not really divorced, not really separated. What is this? I couldn't answer. Honestly, I didn't know myself. I didn't have the courage to actually divorce, but I didn't want to live with him again either. "Maggie, I've done a lot of thinking. Let's start over." Bill tried to take my hand. I quickly pulled away. "No, leave." And at that exact moment, the store door chimed open. It was Chris. "Maggie, are you okay?" Chris rushed in and looked at me. "Maggie? Who's this?" Bill looked Chris up and down. His gaze sharpened. "I work here." "You work here? And you call the owner Maggie?" I quickly intervened. I asked him to come help with some inventory, but Bill didn't seem convinced. Inventory. At 11 p.m., Bill approached Chris. Chris stood his ground. "Hey, you sleeping with my wife?" "Bill, what are you saying?" I shouted, but Bill seemed to have figured it out. So that's it. This is why you look so refreshed. Having an affair with some young stud?" "It's not an affair." "Then what is it? What are you doing with this kid?" Bill was shouting now. A few customers glanced into the store. "Please keep your voice down. People are working." "Working? You're worried about work now? After what you've done?" Chris stepped forward. "Sir, you seem pretty drunk. You should leave now before this gets ugly." "What did you call me, you arrogant punk?" Bill jabbed a finger at Chris. "Who are you to tell me what to do? You seduced my wife, destroyed my family?" "Watch your mouth." "I haven't done anything like that." "Haven't done anything? Then what were you two doing in here, all cozy together?" Bill laughed scornfully and looked around the store. "Pathetic little creep. Decided to latch onto a 55-year-old woman. so you could get her store and her house. Bill, stop it! I screamed, but Bill wouldn't stop. Shut up. You think any of the money you earned is yours without my permission? It's all my money. Your money? It's not your money. I earned it, working over 20 years. We're married. By law, it's shared property. Bill slammed his fist on the counter. Lighters displayed on the shelf clattered to the floor. Hey, young employee, tell me the truth. You're only with her for the money, aren't you? Chris's face hardened. He clenched his fists. Take that back. Take what back? I'm not with Maggie for money. Then why? You're so attracted to a woman 15 years older. Shut up, Chris shouted loudly. I flinched. I'd never heard Chris shout like that. The woman you've trampled your whole life is precious to me? Chris's voice echoed through the store. Fire blazed in his eyes. Why you? Bill grabbed Chris by the collar, but Chris didn't move. Let go. What? I said let go. Chris's hand shot out and grabbed Bill's wrist, twisting it. Bill cried out and fell to his knees. Ah, ow, you bastard. I don't want to use force, but I won't tolerate anyone insulting Maggie. Chris pinned Bill's wrist to the floor. Bill couldn't move. Chris's strength, with his muscular build, was immense. Let go! Let go of me! Chris, that's enough. I tried to stop him, but Chris didn't release Bill. Sir, I'm telling you this one last time. Chris's voice was low and firm. A real man doesn't own a woman. He protects her. You spent your whole life trying to own Maggie, but you never once tried to protect her. Chris slowly pulled Bill to his feet. Bill staggered, clutching his wrist. You bastard. You'll regret this. I'll call the cops. Chris pulled out his phone, but I grabbed his arm. Chris, don't. But let him go. I looked down at Bill. His pathetic state almost made me feel pity. But at the same time, I realized how meaningless those 25 years with this man had been. Bill, you never saw me as a person. I was just a machine to you. A cooking machine, a money-earning machine, a cleaning machine. My voice trembled. You never once asked what was in my heart, what I wanted, how I wanted to live. That's enough. Go live your own life. Bill looked up at me. In his eyes, besides anger, there was something else. You'll regret this, Maggie. I'll take you for everything you've got through the lawyers. Fine. Do it legally. And you think you'll last long with this puppy? You'll come crawling back to me. At that, I smiled coldly. When I was younger, I might have believed that. What? But now I know. What you gave me wasn't love. It was a prison. Bill's face twisted. I'm not coming back to you. Ever. I opened the store door wide. Leave. Your hold on me ended today. Bill staggered out into the street. He stood there for a long time, staring at me through the glass door, but eventually turned and walked away. When his figure disappeared, my legs gave way. Chris caught me. Maggie, are you okay? Chris, I was so scared. Don't be scared. Everything's going to be fine now. Really? Yes, because I'm here. Chris held me tighter. Now I was truly free, and I wasn't afraid. Beside me was someone who would protect me. That night, I went home with Chris. After the scene Bill had caused at the store, I finally felt peace. Maggie, you were amazing tonight. I was? The way you stood up to him, it was really something. Chris squeezed my hand tightly. That's because of you. If it weren't for you, I would have crumbled again. That wouldn't have happened. You're a strong woman by nature. A few days later, divorce papers arrived from Bill's lawyer. Maggie, are you okay? Chris asked with concern. Yes, it actually feels like a relief. I signed the papers without hesitation. So ended my 25-year marriage. I felt not sadness, but liberation. Now we can really be together. We held each other tightly. At first, we were self-conscious about others' opinions. I heard the neighbors whispering. 55 years old, divorced, living with a 40-year-old, her own employee. What a scandal. No shame at all. But I didn't care. This was my life, and I didn't care what others said. Chris officially moved in with me. He had very few belongings, a couple changes of clothes. That was it. Maggie, I'm sorry I don't make much money yet. What are you talking about? We have enough for two. When I find a better job, I'll give you a comfortable life. Chris, I'm already completely happy. And it was true. Waking up in the morning and seeing Chris's face was happiness enough. We ate together, worked together at the store, and at night we fell asleep in each other's arms. This routine suited me perfectly. Of course, it wasn't always smooth. The 15-year age difference sometimes made itself known. Maggie, do you know what's trending on TikTok right now? What's that? I've never heard of it. Never mind. All the young people know about it. I'm not young. I'm already an old lady. Moments like that, we'd just laugh. The age difference wasn't a problem. It was almost a source of amusement. A few months later, something amazing happened. I felt my body actually growing younger. My skin became firmer, my body lighter. Maggie, are you on a diet? You look completely different. A regular customer asked. I smiled and answered, it's the power of love. Haha, you're joking. But it wasn't a joke. I was serious. Each passionate night with Chris made me feel younger. Doctors explain it with hormones, but I believe it's because of love. One evening, Chris and I were walking through the park, enjoying the autumn leaves. Chris took my hand and said, Maggie, thank you. What for? For accepting me, for who I am. I turned to Chris. Chris, you're the best gift I've ever received in my life. At 55, I finally understand what real love is. Me too. For 40 years, I thought something was wrong with me. I believed I didn't deserve love. Don't ever think that. I don't anymore, because of you. We held each other tightly, and I understood what true happiness is. It's not living by standards set by others. It's choosing what you want for yourself, not giving up because of age or difficult circumstances. That's what happiness is. I still sometimes think about my ex-husband, Bill. We lived together for 25 years, and I don't hate him. I just feel sorry for him. Sorry that he never understood what was in my heart. But I regret nothing. Not the divorce, not being with Chris. I only regret not making this decision sooner. Me at 55, Chris at 40. To others, we might be a strange couple with a 15-year age gap. But we're happy. We still run the store. Now Chris works the night shift, and I work days. During shift changes, we have dinner together and chat about everything and nothing. Sometimes customers ask, Maggie, you've been glowing lately. What's your secret? And I always answer, courage. The courage to choose your life again. My dear friends, real love doesn't ask about age, and happiness isn't given to you by someone else. It begins with the courage to choose it for yourself. So please find that courage. It's never too late. If your heart is still alive, love can begin again at any moment.